sit back, relax and enjoy the show.
The fairy tale is complete. The Central Coast Mariners, champions of Australia.
Across their first 16 and a bit seasons in the A-League men's competition, Wellington Phoenix played 216 home matches without ever hosting a top-of-the-table clash. Today, they host their third one in a row. Having scored late to grab a 1-1 draw with Melbourne Victory in mid-January, the Phoenix return home for another 1v2 match-up today against the high-flying, defending champion Central Coast Mariners. No mai haere mai, kia ora, good afternoon and welcome to Aotearoa, New Zealand's capital, Te Whanganui-a-Tara, Wellington, for a mouth-watering Waitangi Day clash in the Isuzu Ute A-League men's as Wellington Phoenix play host to the Central Coast Mariners. And right on cue, here come the two teams. Danny Vukovic, former Phoenix keeper, leading the Mariners out. Alex Rufer back into the side, leading out Wellington. Former Phoenix and all-whites goalkeeper Jacob Spoonley alongside. In October, Jake, did anybody have Phoenix v Mariners 1v2 on their bingo card?
At the start of the season, many, if not all, wrote the Phoenix off. Now, the Phoenix find themselves facing the third instalment of a trilogy of top-of-the-table clashes at home against another side with their own history of being written off, but also defying expectations. The resurrected Mariners come to Wellington on Waitangi Day with a mid-season wet sail. The informed team in the competition up against the stubborn host perched above them. Makes for an unpredictable Tuesday afternoon. No better way to spend it, Piney.
The weather has absolutely come to the party. It is a sweltering Waitangi Day in New Zealand's capital. Blue sky above and players on the grass below. Already the beads of sweat starting to form on the brows of today's participants. Costa Barbarouses has seen it all before. The Central Coast Mariners, the opposition today. Wonderful to have them here for Waitangi Day. A national anthem today to be sung by Joe Mara.
This afternoon on Waitangi Day, the New Zealand national anthem will be performed by Joe Mara, an accomplished lawyer and talented theatrical performer who recently played the role of Un Jalras in Les Mis. Please stand.
God of nations at thy feet, in the bonds of love we meet. Hear our voices, we entreat. God, defend our free land. God, Pacific's triple star, from the shafts of strife and war, make her praises heard afar. God, defend New Zealand.
Lawyer by trade, popular local performer Joe Mara with a stirring rendition of New Zealand's national anthem on Waitangi Day. 3 changes to the Phoenix 11 that started Friday's 1-1 draw with Brisbane. Two of them enforced. Nick Pennington suspended. Mo Altay is injured. Isaac Hughes drops to the bench. In come Alex Rufer, Tim Payne and Ben Old. Also coming off the bench, or rather starting, having come off the bench in the last two matches. Speaking of the bench, every member of the outfield contingent on the Pine this afternoon, under 21. Gabriel Sloan Rodriguez would become Wellington's youngest ever player if he sets foot on the grass this afternoon. For the Mariners, it's the same side that started Saturday's 4-0 win over Adelaide. Danny Vukovic returns to face the side he played the 2010-11 season for. Angel Torres has 10 goals this season, 9 in the last 8. Brian Keltak began his senior career just up the road at Waterside Karori. On the Mariners bench, new Brazilian acquisition Ronald Barcelos, and All Whites fullback Storm Roux, who returns from suspension. Alex King is our referee in his 127th A-League men's match, assisted by Gareth Sheehan and Isaac Trevor. Sam Kelly, the fourth official, and that is 11-year-old Daisy Gaisley helping out with the coin toss today. If needed, Chris Griffiths-Jones is ready and waiting in the VAR booth. Tim Payne returns from a two-game ban after being sent off in the last home game here. He's enjoying perhaps his best season in black and yellow, playing every minute of the campaign until his red card 2 rounds ago. Back just in time for a pretty tough defensive assignment, keeping tabs on Mariners striker Angel Torres. Josh Nisbet has played every minute for the Mariners this season, earning rave reviews, so much so that an overseas move and elevation into the Socceroos both being talked about. Our Sky Sport and Paramount Plus colleague and A-League icon Archie Thompson this week described Josh Nisbet as the best midfielder in the league. Giancarlo Italiano said yesterday the Mariners are the best team in the comp, but stopped short of comparing them to his own, which is also going along fairly nicely. Since the start of the year, his Phoenix are unbeaten, 2 wins and 3 draws. Mark Jackson makes his first visit to Wellington as boss of the Mariners. After a rocky start, he has them flying. Knows victory here today would see them reach the summit of the A-League ladder. Away we go on Waitangi Day in Wellington for the 3rd time in consecutive games here at Sky Stadium. First place second, that seemed fanciful 4 rounds into the season. The defending champion Mariners didn't have a single point and were languishing at the foot of the ladder. Less than 3 months on, they are a win today away from taking top spot. The Phoenix unbeaten in their last 5. The Mariners undefeated in their last 5 away from home. The first time the two have squared off this season. Their 47th meeting overall, it's very even. 19 wins for Wellington, 18 for the Mariners, and 9 draws. The first thing you'll notice is the Phoenix in the dark strip. If you're tuning in for the first time to a Wellington Phoenix game this season, you might be familiar with them playing in yellow and black. It is the dark strip today for the home side. It's all to do with sponsor obligations, which we won't go into here, but attacking the goal to the left of screen, the Wellington Phoenix in the dark strip. The Central Coast Mariners in their traditional gold and navy blue, attacking the goal to right of screen. Formation's been a talking point all week, Jacob, in terms of how the Phoenix might line up with a couple of absentees. What are you seeing out there, particularly in the engine room of Wellington?
Well, they've had a lean squad all season. The team that has made the least changes to their starting 11 in the competition, and what we're seeing here today is a 4-3-3, at least defensively, Piney. There was suggestion that they might use the back 5 that was employed against Newcastle and Brisbane, but early doors it seems as though Ben Old, who may have been playing in a wing-back position, will be shifted into that midfield alongside Alex Rufer and Bojidar Crave.
Early set-piece opportunity for Wellington. Lucas Kelly healed, lining it up, and steps over the top as Tim Payne plants it into a crowded penalty area. Referee saw a push, and the Mariners will ease the pressure valve with a free kick. Welcome into our Australian viewers. Waitangi Day observed every year on February 6. It marks the signing of the Treaty of Waitangi in 1840. when representatives of the British Crown and over 500 Māori chiefs signed what is considered to be New Zealand's founding document. Waitangi Day first officially commemorated in 1934. It's been a public holiday since 1974. For Mariners fans in particular, we know it's not a public holiday where you are, and it's just gone 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so well done to you for sneaking away from work perhaps to take it some A-League action on a Tuesday afternoon.
It's been tentative so far, Piney. Both teams being very disciplined in the block that they're setting up, and they're not looking to press early doors. They want to ensure that there isn't that time and space in the midfield, because both of these sides, once they do get beyond the pressure, can explode forward.
Alex Rufer back in the Phoenix side after missing the last match through suspension. Tim Payne also back in the side. Nico Pennington sits this one out through yellow card accumulation. Tim Payne wins a throw off Angel Torres. Let's get your sideline. Phoenix legend Paul Eiffel is standing by in the sunshine down there. Pretty warm sideline, Eifey.
Yeah, good afternoon, gents. It is boiling here. The jacket is off. I'm not struggling yet, but I'm sure I'm going to be.
Wellington with a chance to mount another attack through Ben Old. Kelly Hield lends a hand. It's a pass from Van Hattem. Can he wrap his foot around this? Kelly Hield, he might have won a corner, and has. First set-piece situation of the afternoon in terms of a corner for Wellington. Their 57th corner of the season. They haven't scored any of them yet, Jacob.
Now, there's a first for everything, but lovely play from Ben Old. He set that one up, manoeuvred Van Hattem into an inside channel, and then released Kelly Hield. It's interesting to see that a player of 1.92 m is going to be taking a set piece.
Which he does. Kelly Hield into the area. Keltack with the header away. Lucas Kelly Hield going to recycle with Ben Old. Rufer urged to shoot, will shoot. Canelo Quole on the edge of the penalty area, bounced up against Kelly Hield's hand, but inadvertent, says referee Alex King. Ben Old heading into a bit of a cul-de-sac, and Mikel Docker with good strength over there helping out as Torres. Has that gone over the line? It has. It'll be a Wellington try. First time Wellington have hosted an A-League match on Waitangi Day. They did play Macarthur on February the 6th 2 years ago, but that game was played at Campbelltown.
Interesting that Central Coast have been asked to defend early doors. Something that they are used to for away games, and ominously for the Wellington Phoenix, they have kept clean sheets in their last 3 away matches.
Ben Old's energy in front of you, Eifey. It looks as though he's well up for this one. Ben Old in his return to the starting side.
Yeah, it's a good start for Ben Old. He's looking like he can get down. He's got the beating of his man at the minute. I think they've just got to get the ball into him. At the moment, the Mariners are quite content to allow the Phoenix to have possession. There's not been too much going through the middle. They're allowing them to go in the outside, and I think they're happy to defend the crosses that might come in. With the likes of Caltuck in there, I think they'll be pretty comfortable doing that most of the day.
Josh Nisbet has given up another corner, so certainly the early set pieces have come the way of the home side.
Talked about the left-hand side being dangerous early through Ben Old, but Tim Payne is an ever-presence down the right as well. Looking to combine, to draw in the fullback and then exploit the space that they have left.
So Tim Payne in charge of right-wing corners towards the near post, away by Theo Harris.
It's the third set piece that the Wellington Phoenix have had in the attacking third, and I've got to say, all 3 deliveries have meant that there has been no real danger for Central Coast to defend.
It's a remarkable stat. They haven't scored at all from a corner or a free kick this season. None of Wellington's 26 goals have come in that fashion. They've had a couple of penalties, but in terms of corners and free kicks and the delivery of them, hasn't been great. Now here's Torres just about striding onto that one before Božidar Krajev got back, and he's angry. Krajev with his teammates for putting him in that situation.
Fair enough too. The back four was all at sea there. Wooden and Sermon, who have formed such a competent and comfortable partnership this season, were far too stretched. Sermon was caught out in particular, and it took the recovery run from Krajev to nullify Angel Torres, who was found, or almost superbly, by Alu Kuol. That's the danger. In a moment, the Central Coast Mariners can turn the game on you.
Yeah, and Angel Torres, what an acquisition. He's been the Colombian for the Mariners. 10 goals this season. His first visit to Wellington, and he does his defensive shift there and wins the ball back for his side. Good crowd in attendance today, public holiday, family-friendly kick-off time. The Phoenix have thrown the gates open for kids today. Anybody under 16 has got in for free. And we certainly have our first five-figure crowd of the season here in Wellington. We'll have the official number for you in the second half.
Touched on the Wellington Phoenix's formation. Just have a look at the way in which Central Coast is setting up. It's a 3-2-4-1 in possession. Farrell's tucking in.
Here's Van Hattem. He gets a shot away. Oscar Van Hattem still looking for that first A-League men's goal. Second start in succession for the youngster.
Feeling confident. He's the player that actually wins the ball, turns it around, creates an attack for himself. I think in that situation, the excitement of youth got the better of him. Perhaps better place to put his foot on the ball, allow the midfield to come into the game, because he did have reinforcements up there with him.
Here's Nisbet. What a season for Josh Nisbet. He brings Docker into play. Now Hall. Once again, it's a high press from Wellington at the moment. And the pressure tells as Christian Theoharis can't find a man.
Is it a close one, Ify?
I was hoping it was going to come through. I was ready with a bit of chest control, but it hit the monitor, unfortunately, so I didn't get my moment.
Cameras don't go that low, Ify, so it would have been a celebration that you'd have had to have by yourself.
As usual, Spoons, on my own.
Tell you what, if I backed any member of the Sky team to bring it down, it'd be you, I think.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't be Spoons, would it?
It's not me, and it's certainly not Goran.
Really interesting afternoon ahead for Božidar Krajev. He's been asked to play a pretty unfamiliar position. He's been largely used as an attacking player since his arrival in Wellington. Has to play a bit deeper today. There's a good energy about this game. Krajev asking for the ball from Ball and gets. Charging forward is Tim Payne. Will he haul that in? It doesn't quite. And
it's been called a goal kick, but I think Tim Payne is right to ask the question. His lung buster there forced an intervention. I think it's from Caltech. But look, as soon as the Wellington Phoenix break that midfield line, the space opens up and they can get forward. The likes of Costa Barbarouses and Van Hattem occupying that central channel. Ball chooses to try and find Payne, but the ball perhaps just a little bit overcooked. But like you said, Tiny, energy is abundant inside the first stanza.
First goal might be important in terms of the final result. Neither of these sides has lost after scoring the first goal in any game this season. Mariners again being put under a bit of pressure. Here's Farrell, calmly out to Torres. Referee just waiting to see whether any advances is accrued. Second foul by Krajev on Farrell is the one that he whistles, Alex King.
Two players that don't mind a tussle. Božidar Krajev, one of the players in the Wellington Phoenix that have been involved in the most duels, and that time it's not really clear who won. I think technical knockout in favour of Farrell. Here we go. Here's a good look at the shape for the Central Coast Mariners in controlled possession. Torres is occupying that wide left spot. Docker's rotating up, and they're creating the width. They know that the Phoenix are going to be disciplined centrally, so they're setting up to try and exploit the space, particularly outside the fullbacks.
Raking pass there, looking to do exactly that. Too big, though, for Mikhail Docker. Another making his first trip to Wellington. It's the passing out from the back that we've come to know and occasionally love from Wellington this season.
A couple of groans in the sky trackers, I'm sure they were at home, but composed play from Alex Paulsen has been a staple not only of his play but the Wellington Phoenix under Italiano.
Yeah, an ever-present in goal for Wellington this season. Barbarousis with his first chance to attack. Farrell across the 6-yard area. Vukovic into that corridor of chaos it went, and no touch from a Wellington player.
Well, a beautiful ball from Barbarousis there. He did well to find the space. Krajev puts him in a one-on-one against Farrell, goes early with the cross, and Van Hattem just does not gamble. He's at a canter at that back post. He's got to get there to force the issue, because the Central Coast Mariners did not defend that. So if he'd gambled, that could have been a tap-in.
Talked before about Oscar Van Hattem. He's provided impact from the bench for most of his Phoenix career. This is his second start in a row. Still waiting for that first goal. I know players will say that it's about more than just those stats, Ify, but how much will it be playing on Oscar Van Hattem's mind that he's not off the mark yet?
I think he's probably happier that he's playing in a position that he doesn't normally play. Like he's a forward, he's playing wide, so it's not as obvious that he has to get on the score sheet, you know. I think in those positions, though, he's got to make that near post run if he can. Aim to go across the knee, you might not make it, you might make the middle of the goal, but I think if he has that near post mentality when he's coming in from the other side, I think he's going to get himself on the score sheet, you know, sooner rather than later.
Particularly when you've got the informed Costa Barbarousis delivering.
As mentioned numerous times, the Mariners on an 11-game unbeaten run. Their record unbeaten streak is 15 matches, all the way back in the 2011-12 season. 15 games between October 2011 and January 2012 without defeat. They finished top that season before losing to Perth Glory on penalties in week 3 of the finals. Here is Van Hattem. A couple of options for Oscar Van Hattem. Was he fouled? Yes, he was, says referee Alex King. I think that's actually turned out quite well for Oscar Van Hattem, because I'm not sure that he knew which pass to play.
It was a loose pass, and Van Hattem, as he's done on a couple of occasions here, he's able to recycle. Picks up the ball, knows that Farrell's out of position, tries to find Barbarousis, bobbles around. I don't think Farrell knew where the ball was, so he made sure that the man couldn't advance the play.
Well, this is in a very interesting position. It's, you'd imagine, right at the end of the range for any player contemplating a shot on goal. Barbarousis and Rufer are in close attendance. I think Alex Rufer has left it for Costa.
Looks a wee way out, but there should be enough space for the ball to travel for Costa Barbarousis to really put his foot through this. Suspect he's aiming for Danny Vukovic's top right-hand corner.
Instead, he gives it off to Rufer. Payne is involved. That all broke down rather quickly for Wellington. They are the masters, though, of recalibration as Rufer sends it towards ball. And behind it goes off Docker for another Wellington corner. Thought he had hands in his back, Mikhail Docker. Referee disagreed.
Don't think it rose to the threshold of a push from David Ball there.
Kelly healed. Delivery's pretty good this time, but away by Keltack. Barbarousis lurking. Rufa too. Barbarousis back towards David Ball. And the Mariners clear their lines, so another unsuccessful set piece for the home side. Good to see the kids area heavily populated today. You can see the red seats. They are designated for families here, and with kids getting in for free. Good to see a number of them are being taken up today. Sermon and Wooten, very familiar with one another now this season. They too have played every minute of the campaign for the Phoenix. Kraev sets off, sizes up his options, doesn't find anything he likes.
A bit tentative by the Wellington Phoenix at the moment. They're circulating, being patient. A couple of moments where the space was there to break the Central Coast Mariners line. A touch from Kraev back to goal meant that he couldn't find Barbarousis. And gets on the ball again. There was no run from Van Hadden or Barbarousis in advance of the ball.
Now Mariners start to press. This is Edmondson, Ryan Edmondson. Should mention him in '99. New acquisition for the Mariners. Spent time with Mariners coach Mark Jackson at Leeds United. Ryan Edmondson saw him before the game, and he said that he was told that it was going to be very cold here, just like back home in the UK. He was surprised at the relative warmth that greeted him when he wandered out of the tunnel.
He also mentioned that although it's his first time in New Zealand, he's already had a request for tickets. What a wonderful job he's done. In November, after 4 losses, they found themselves bottom with no points. Now today, right in the conversation for top of the table. 3 months undefeated, Pony.
It often happens, though, doesn't it? A new coach comes in, not familiar with the A-League necessarily. You think about Ufuk Talai's first season in charge of Wellington, and he was familiar with the league as an assistant. He lost his first 4 games in the 2019-20 season as well, and Wellington went on to have one of their best campaigns, finishing 3rd in the regular season. So sometimes it just takes a bit of time, a bit of patience. Here's David Ball. Only Van Hadden in the middle. Barbarousis arriving. Ball again, it just got away from him. And then the foul on Torres.
Take your pick. You could either have the foul on Farrell, or I think it's Elu Kuol that was coming back to ensure that the Mariners kept the ball. Deal of humbleness and humility this week in the media. Giancarlo Italiano emphatic in his praise of the Mariners, saying that they're the best team in the competition. I suspect that he was generous with his words, considering his team is top looking down. But he's every right to be mindful of the threat that the Mariners do pose. Defensively, they've done wonderfully. 5 clean sheets in the last 11 games. And the attack is there for everybody to see.
Nice work from Nisbet to free up Edmondson. He brings Torres into action. Farrell is outside him if required. Now Ballard. Now Farrell gets his foot on the ball. Torres again. Looking for the little 1-2 with Thea Harris. Tim Payne will put his body in the way and shepherd that one safely out.
He'll be assessing, trying to figure out where the gap is, where the one-on-one battle that he can exploit. How can he leverage the game? Italiano has been very versatile early on in his tenure. By my count, has employed 4 or 5 different formations. I think importantly as well, Tiny, not just put them out, but put them in a way that the Wellington Phoenix are able to understand and ensure that they're effective. What we're seeing here today is emphasis on that central channel. The front three aren't pressing the back line of the Mariners. The Wellington Phoenix forward line are sitting in, denying the ball into Ballard and Nisbet, not wanting them to dictate terms.
They've just been so effective, haven't they, Nisbet and Ballard in the engine room for the Mariners. Remind me a little bit of the way that Matty Mackay and Mas Madoka used to buzz around in midfield for Brisbane Roar.
Might have a different opinion to Archie as the best midfielder in the competition, but I think you can't deny that the best midfield combo, or at least they're in the conversation, is Ballard and Nisbet. Especially Nisbet with the assists that he's managed to cultivate so far this season, 6.
Yeah, joint top of that metric, Josh Nisbet. I think Ballard perhaps goes a little bit unsung sometimes. There's a lot of mail around about Josh Nisbet, and rightly so. I think Max Ballard provides a really good foil for him alongside. Perhaps does some of the more unseen stuff. Approaching the 25-minute mark. No score in this top-of-the-table clash. Mariners coaching staff right on the edge of their technical area, in fact, just outside there. Here's Docker. Nisbet faces forward, finds Edmondson, who frees up Torres. Aimed for Thea Harris, who will get this, will he? No. Taken off him by Van Haddam. Wellington put under pressure. Once again, a few hearts and mouths as Wellington look to play a bit of small ball in their own penalty area.
I think that was the right ball. Tim Payne just got caught searching for his option. If Towson were to find him.
Quoll has nipped in here and taken it away from Sermon. Nisbet can't control it. Thea Harris can't either. Benol can't get it away. Wellington just struggling to clear their lines a bit here until Bojidar Kraev steps in and is fouled by Alu Quoll, who quickly apologises to the Bulgarian.
You see there that combined 18 final third entries, 11 to the Wellington, 7 to the Mariners. Not bad for the first 25 minutes, but both teams are set up in a way that is designed to frustrate. In addition to Italiano, the introduction of Griffiths as part of this Wellington Phoenix coaching staff, the praise has been effusive. He's made them a lot harder to break down. They're a lot more comfortable defending deep.
Just the 18 goals conceded this season in 15 matches for Wellington. Only Melbourne Victory have conceded fewer than that. They are, though, up against the best attacking side in the competition today, or one of them anyway. Mariners 31 goals in their 15 outings. Wonderful to see Danny Vukovic back here in Wellington. Very popular during his one season here, 2010-11. Played 17 games. Scored a penalty, of course. Remains the only goalkeeper to have an A-League goal to his name. Here's Theo Harris for the Mariners. Squares it back, just beyond and on-rushing Alu Kwol. And Božidar Krajev takes it away, and Edmondson can only poke it out for a throw.
Well, that's the first time that the Mariners have got beyond the Wellington Phoenix backline. Theo Harris in form, scored last week. This time looking to be supplier, and Alu Kwol stretching for it, but not enough to get a touch.
So Wellington have penned in somewhat here. Tim Payne steals a couple of metres. Here's Ballard regaining possession for the Mariners. Here's Hall. Now Docker. Nisbet's dropped in between the centre-backs to pick up possession. Farrell. Game has slowed down to walking pace for the meantime. Nisbet with a pass, looking to split the defence, and Kelly Heald was with a moment of potential catastrophe there.
There's been a few moments for the Wellington Phoenix. They've switched off, or there's been a slip. Invited pressure. Finn Sermon only moments ago off a pass from Tim Payne, and that time Lucas Kelly-Heald didn't get his feet sorted. Can't allow that to happen with frequency, not with the likes of Torres and Kwol, Theo Harris around.
Vukovic has a bit of pressure put on him by Barbarouses. Mariners look to get this one away, but Ben Older's nipped in and taking control of the ball for Wellington. Now Rufer. Giancarlo Italiano said during the week that this game could be a bit of a tactical chess match between he and Mark Jackson and their chess pieces out on the grass. He said sometimes that can feel a bit boring. No, he finds it deeply interesting, the tactical battle that goes on within a game. Edmondson putting a bit of pressure on Sermon. Similarly, Torres on Payne, who gets away from the advances of Torres. Chance now for Wellington to break quickly through Krajev. Plenty of elevation on that cross. Good header by Docker. Theo Harris comes charging through. Kelly Heald goes to deck, but the Mariners will bring it away through Ballard. Chance now to break with 4 yellow shirts forward. Torres outside Ballard. Gets the ball off him now. It's his left foot that they have to worry about. Man goes down in the area. That was Ballard who carried on through. Nothing doing. You saw Alex King shake the hand. 8 of Torres' 10 goals have been with that left foot.
It was a dangerous moment for the Wellington Phoenix in that time. Much better marshalled by Finn Sermon. Confident, dropped off, denied the space, didn't want Angel Torres to get onto his left foot inside the 18-yard, forced him to cut in on his right foot, and that's where the danger subsided.
Paul Eiffel, you often hear about the energy of a game and who has the momentum in a game. Who does it feel like to you after 32 minutes?
It's so topsy-turvy, Piney. At the moment, I think both teams are scared of the other in transition. So they're trying to make it really tight and compact. And if you've noticed, when those transition moments have happened, that's when the game looks like it's going to open up. And I think the Phoenix are a little worried. The way that the Mariners move the ball and get it into Kwol, and he can set the next one, then they're looking for the runners beyond. And I think that's the danger for the Phoenix. They've got to try and stop that happening. But that's going to happen when they're on the ball and they're trying to attack in these moments like this. It's when they lose the ball, can they be nice and tight and come back and win it back quickly.
Payne flicks it into Barbarouses. He's well marshalled on the edge of the area, but Wellington have the ball back. Keltak goes back to Vukovic, who puts the big right boot on it and clears the danger.
We had Barbarouses and Van had him hovering. Yellow fever finding its voice. Haven't had much to cheer about in terms of big moments, but they'll be important today. The Wellington Phoenix have set this match up so that children go free, which is a great initiative. For periods where they don't expect big crowds, they've had them. The biggest crowds of the season have been the Wanderers and Victory in and around the holiday period. I'm sure we've got another one today on Waitangi Day.
Mariners playing their part as well. Edmondson, what can he create, the former England under-19 international? Ballard picks it up. Docker wanted it. Ballard ignored him and thought, no, I'll go back over the other side. And then does change his mind a second time and does bring Docker in. His touch is a bit heavy. Lucas Kelly healed over the top of Docker. Firmly but fairly, says the officiating team. That was firm and unfair from Christian Theoharis, who again immediately apologises to being old for his indiscretion.
Theoharis back up on his feet and returns the favour to Ben Old. Just interesting, expanding on what Ify was talking about in terms of the tempo of this game and the manner in which it's being played. Both teams very conscious about transition. As a result, to try and open up the game, Italiano has used Old.
Van Hannen with a great ball to free up Kriev in a bit of space. Faced by Farrell, who gets a good foot in. Good defending by Jacob Farrell, as we've come to expect. Nisbet completes the clearance. Theoharis and Old resume hostilities.
It's that man there. When the Phoenix do have possession, they'll push Kelly Field wider and higher, and they'll look to drop Ben Old in. Ask the question of the Mariners, are they willing to send a midfielder, often Theoharis, out to put pressure on him? And if not, he can get on the ball and develop play.
Kelly Hill using his strength and his body well on that occasion. No Sam Sutton for Wellington for the foreseeable future. He's picked up another injury. It's been a terrifically frustrating time for Sam Sutton recently. He's out for the long term. Lucas Kelly-Heald should have possession of that left-back spot. As a result, they were battling it out in many ways, those two, for that position.
Teammates that are not only battling it out for a starting spot, but also keeping the thoughts of Darren Baisley as he looks to prepare for the Paris Olympics.
Speaking of international football, OFC Nations Cup coming up in June. Vanuatu are hosting. Brian Keltak, of course, is a pretty important member of the Vanuatu side. They will play New Zealand in pool play at the OFC Nations Cup at the back end of June. Barbarouses turns away momentarily from Theoharis. Josh Nisbet mopping up the scraps in the Mariners midfield. Ben Old and Ballard together.
Nisbet and Ballard, consistent combatants, constant in their work rate. Made note about how disruptive Alex Rufer is, but they equally so.
Once again, the pace just slows down, and it's almost like a game of who's going to blink first.
We'll point out that the Mariners won't mind this. say out of the two, they've probably got the bench with the most depth, and importantly, Piney, they've scored a third of their goals, 10, in the last 15 minutes of matches.
Rufer takes it off Torres and sets Barbarouses away. Only Van Hadam ahead with him at the moment. Costa Barbarouses runs at Docker. Now he frees up David Ball across the 6-yard area from Ball. And again, perhaps Oscar Van Hadam maybe could have gambled a bit more.
Barbarouses drives at the heart of the Central Coast Mariners defence. He's looking for a run, in to out or wide. Van Hadam too late at the first instance, finds Ball, and that's definitely a cross. David Ball knows that he's not in position to test Vukovic, and he's wanting Oscar Van Hadam to make that run, get across the defender.
Again, these things will come with experience. David Ball's another one. He's such an integral part of this team, but on his mind, I'm sure, is his goal-scoring drought. He hasn't scored now, David Ball, for over a year in the A-League men's. It's the longest goalless stretch of his career. Wouldn't he love to break that duck? A foul by Old on Ballard. Underway quickly through Docker. Torres. Farrell outside. No option for that pass now. Wellington doing a pretty good job at the moment of planting two blocks across the face of their penalty area.
Well, if we are to get a crescendo, then the players are ensuring they're keeping their energy for it. Very slow tempo at times in this middle third of the first half.
Well, Oscar Van Hadam thought he was pushing the back, grabbed the ball, and Alex King says no push, but you've now handled it. So it's a Mariners free kick. Into the final 5 minutes of regulation in this first half. Cut and thrust out here as these two teams are playing at times what looks like a chess match. Here's Nisbet looking to unlock Wellington's defence. Quoll, clever. It's fallen to Torres. He was quickly closed down, little back heel in the area. Mariners can't get a shot on. Now they will through Edmondson.
There goes the flag. The assistant referees are instructed to allow play to continue if they're unsure. See what develops. What developed there was a great block from Finn Sermon. Denied space to Alo Quoll. It all comes off a misplaced pass. And Angel Torres there, the man who's in an offside position. Interesting to see how VAR would have interpreted that one, but it all comes to an end as there's a shot which is handled at the second time of asking by Alex Paulson.
See, a big part of me says play went on for a long time after Torres was offside. What if an injury occurs during that time? As a coach, you would be absolutely filthy at that, wouldn't you?
Particularly Italiano with his depleted squad at the moment. Was lean to begin with, and there's a number of absentees.
Kelly Hield asks Oscar Van Hadam to get off on a run. He puts hands in the back of Hall. 5 clean sheets apiece for these two teams so far this season. Both have conceded just 7 first-half goals in their 15 matches, so they've kept it nice and tight.
Throughout this first half, David Ball monitors Josh Nisbet and Oscar Van Hatten, very disciplined, defending Max Ballard.
Crieff looks up, looks for Van Hatten, falls to David Ball. He's got a couple ahead of him, including Barbarouses!
That's a great chance. Costa Barbarouses looking to add to his 8 goals so far this season. Oscar Van Hatten ensures that the ball falls to David Ball, and then delightful ball in to find the diminutive Costa Barbarouses. Space in and amongst 3 Mariners defenders, but unfortunately for the Wellington Phoenix, steers that one the wrong side of Vukovic's goal.
Well, on the occasion of the Mariners' first ever visit to Wellington, a 17-year-old Costa Barbarouses made his maiden start for the club. In goal that day for the Mariners, Danny Vukovic. They resumed those hostilities 16 years on. Nisbet. Docker. Ballard. He's set upon by Ben Old and then does well to win it back, or looked as though he had. Referee Alex King just seeing how it was going to play out. Eventually whistles the foul. Free kick for Wellington as we approach the 45-minute mark.
Alex King just waiting to see if that ball made its way to Lucas Kelly-Hield. We've created a chance for the Wellington Phoenix to exploit the transition.
Against a bright blue sky here in Wellington. We get news of 1 extra minute from 4th official Sam Kelly. Is there a possible chance for either side in the remaining 30 seconds that we now have? Kelly-Hield. Old. Wellington stay patient. They just run the clock down here. And that they do. Well, if a game of chess was going to be played on a patch of grass, this is what it would look like. Cut and thrust and counter thrust as both teams remain wary of the other, particularly in transition. Not too many goal-scoring opportunities to speak of, and no goals either. Half-time here in Wellington. The Phoenix and the Mariners locked together at 0-0.
No, my Hawkeye, my welcome back into Sky Stadium, drenched in sunshine on your Waitangi day for a 1v2 battle in the A-League men's competition. Goalless at the break between the Wellington Phoenix and the Central Coast Mariners. It's time for the halftime show with my boy in blue. Who wore it best, myself or former Wellington Phoenix goal scorer Paul Eiffel? Ifey, I've heard countless times, and I'm sure you did too, in the commentary from Jason Pine. It's like a chess match out there. It's cut and thrust. I was more of a checkers guy. So from your cerebral point of view, what have you made of the first 45?
I think it's been difficult for both sides. No one's really willing to take a chance just yet. I think you'll see them come out in the second half and take a few more chances. It's been both teams have been very happy to let the other have the ball for the most part, and then try and get them on that counter-attack. And it's those transition moments I don't think make the most of. Who's going to be the first team to make the most of that? I think there's been a couple of opportunities for the Phoenix, and the last pass hasn't quite stuck. There's been a couple of decent crosses into the box, and then, you know, Van Hattem or Costa Barbarousse haven't quite made the right runs. If you look at it from the Mariners side, sorry, super loud here, I think someone just hit the bar. If you look at it from the Mariners' point of view, it's been difficult for them to find a way to break through. When they have looked good in transition, again, they've not made quite the right pass at the right time.
Yeah, it's a very similar match to what we saw a couple of days before Christmas, late 2023, against the Western Sydney Wanderers. Tight, tactical. Would you agree that it's almost like we've got two teams out here, very high up the ladder, scared to make a mistake?
Yeah, I think so. So I think it's going to be interesting what's said at half-time. Which is the coach that's going to go, actually, no, let's go for this. And, you know, if you're 2 points clear, is this a chance for Italiano to go, no, let's have a go. Let's go 5 points clear, and let's put the ball at risk a little bit more. I have liked, on the other side, what Nisbet's been doing. He is somebody, Archie Thompson talked about him and said he thinks
he's the best midfielder in the league, don't you know?
I've been on the side, I've had a little look at him. He is so happy to receive the ball under any circumstance. Tiny in stature, but big of heart. He's such a good little player, and I think he could be the difference in the second half. They can keep giving him the ball, he'll always receive it, and he always looks to play forward when he can.
Yeah, and it's incredible to see what he's been able to do, Josh Nisbet, on such little ball, because the front three of the Phoenix, Costa Barbarousse, Oscar Van Hattem and David Ball, they've been doing a great job of stifling the supply into not only Nisbet but Ballard.
Yeah, it's been very difficult for them to get on the ball, but if you watch Nisbet's movement, it's great. He's always scanning, he's always looking around. Can he find an angle? Can he look for a further option once he's received it? So he's the one they've got to stop the ball getting into, because I think he can be the danger man to get the ball into the likes of Torres, Alu Kuol and Edmondson up front.
Looking at the halftime stats here, Ifey, not much to write home about really. A couple of teams, as we say, scared to make a mistake. You get the sense that things might explode in the second 45.
Well, look, if you look at the expected goals, 0.11, 0.26. I think we've got what we expected so far.
It's been riveting in the attacking third.
Yeah, so I don't know how XG works. I still don't understand it. But XG, sort it out. I don't know where.
Well, if you don't know how it works, I certainly don't know how it works. But I know that Božidar Krajev is working well out in a wide position for the Wellington Phoenix. In fact, both he and Ben Old in wide positions are creating quite a bit out there. Božidar Krajev is especially interesting because he's usually been deployed in further forward areas. What have you made of his efforts in a midfield role, and at times dropping back to defend?
Yeah, look, I think he's done really well on both sides of the ball. The thing that the Phoenix are being allowed by the Mariners is the fact that they're allowed to go wide. So they're happy to defend the crosses. So I think if Krajev can get it in a position like we're seeing here and get inside on his not too bad left foot, I think he can get those crosses in with his right foot and gets the shots off with his left foot. He could be the one that could actually break the deadlock here.
I love the mindset of Krajev as well. At one point early in the first 45, he was barking out orders at Wooten and Sermon. They sort of shirked their defensive responsibilities. He's the one getting back, making the tackle. He's like, that's not good enough. I like that. And not only that, but he was also, we spoke in the pre-game about the likes of Tim Payne on Angel Torres. It's Krajev who's marking him out of the game.
Yeah, I thought Krajev did a really good job. Sometimes they're going to have to double up. Torres is that good. And in that moment, Payne was out of position. Krajev's done the hard yards and got back in. If he doesn't make that, it probably would have been 1-0 to the Mariners.
Chances have been at a premium. What expect to change in the second half? Is it personnel? We spoke in the pre-game about the very youthful bench that Giancarlo Italiano has at his disposal. What changes, what tweaks do you expect him to make the change on the scoreboard?
I think Italiano leaves it as it is for now, and I think he'll look to make changes as the game goes on. Expect the Mariners to maybe make changes earlier. They've got the new Brazilian that's come in. We don't know too much about him, but the way they've recruited over the past couple of seasons, expect him to be a good player. I'm sure he'll make his debut at some point later on today. I do think the Mariners can change it a little bit. Watching Jackson on the sideline, he was annoyed at times that they didn't go forward a little bit earlier, and there was good movement from the midfielders actually dragging people away to make that space in front of Kuol for Edmondson to run into the space, and it wasn't quite happening from the front two. So expect the front two to make runs into those wide areas maybe a little bit better, and the ball delivered into those areas. It's
been a gorgeous afternoon here in the nation's capital on our national day, Waitangi Day, for a 1v2 clash in A-League men. Wellington Phoenix, Central Coast Mariners. If the Mariners win, they go a point clear at the top of the ladder. If the Phoenix manage to win, they are 5 points clear of the chasing pack. The second half is live on Sky Sport next.
Half-time here at Sky Stadium in the sunshine on Waitangi Day. Probably the best chance for Wellington was the diving header by Costa Barbarouses, looking to elude the grasp of Danny Vukovic, always defeating Vukovic's right-hand post though. A win today would be Costa Barbarouses' 150th in the A-League men's. Some members of the A-League women's team in attendance. Top right of screen, Mariana Speckmeyer, the club's all-time leading goal scorer. Hope Breslin and Isabel Cox alongside, enjoying themselves here today. No game for the Wellington Phoenix women in the weekend ahead. Mark Jackson is trying to get his point across under the stands here in Wellington, making sure that his players know what the message is. I'm no lip reader or sign language interpreter. Jacob, what's he saying?
The message will be, do not let the Wellington Phoenix dictate the speed of this game. That man will be happy with how the Phoenix's defensive effort is going. Club legend Ben Sigmund be very happy that the Wellington Phoenix have nullified the attacking threats that the Central Coast Mariners do have. But Mark Jackson, I think he'll be providing the message that we heard from Paul Eiffel at half-time. They're getting the ball into the midfield, but from there, that intuition that we've seen that's become part of the Mariners' DNA has not been on display today. There needs to be earlier movement, and they need to release the ball into that second wave. The likes of Edmondson and Theo Harris, if Aluqual's keeping things high, they then need to create something. They need to provide an option.
Well, football's a tactical battle, both the way you set your side up and the way you make changes in game, and the changes coming for the Mariners, with Jing Rees into the action in 17 for Aluqual. So Jing Rees, the scorer of the Mariners' 700th A-League men's goal against Adelaide the other night. He'll join Ryan Edmondson up top. Aluqual takes a seat. Jing Rees, exciting talent, 3 goals already in just a dozen A-League men's games for the Mariners, number 17. Second half underway in Wellington, in front of an excellent crowd on Waitangi Day. Welcome in wherever you may be watching, be it across Aotearoa, New Zealand, or across the Tasman in Australia. A cagey encounter playing out here between the top 2 sides on the competition log right now. Who has what it takes to unpick the defence of the other, to provide a moment of inspiration, to make a pivotal motion in this game. Wellington Phoenix in the dark strip today, attacking the goal now to the right of screen. That is the southern end of Sky Stadium. The Central Coast Mariners heading back towards left of screen, towards the northern end, Wellington Harbour end of Sky Stadium. Interesting change at half-time. Jing Rees in for Aluqual. Get your thoughts on that in just a moment. In fact, we'll do it now as that one runs away from Rees. Aluqual's first half, how did you assess it?
Yeah, I thought he did okay. I'm thinking it might be an injury. I'll try and find out down here. But Jing Rees, good player, but I thought Quayle held it up well. Didn't really get into the game too much. So I'd have been asking the question from the players to get me the ball, and then he's taken off at half-time. So I'll do a bit of digging down here and try and let you know.
Interestingly, it seems as though Central Coast are going to start pressing the Phoenix. We saw them try and close the envelope in that phase of play where Kraev put the ball out, and they're pressing from the goal kick, which will allow exactly that space for the Phoenix further up the field.
Kraev with a good cross across the 6-yard area. Diving header from Brian Keltack. Goodness only knows how many times he's done that in his long and illustrious career. Phoenix fans, though, find their voice early in the second half of this contest.
Really interesting move from Jackson. I think that actually plays into Italiano's hands. They've been so good at utilising that space, having gone direct, getting in amongst the defensive lines, the Wellington Phoenix. of course you can press when you've got the diminutive and dynamic Josh Nisbet and Max Ballard in midfield. 38 years old. 30-yard sprint from Danny Vukovic.
Yeah, still got plenty of gas in the tank. Danny Vukovic. He's playing game number 149 for the Mariners today. Danny Vukovic, so a milestone match for him next week. He's the oldest ever player to wear the Mariners shirt. 38 years, 317 days old today, to be precise. Still got a way to go before he reaches the mark of another former Mariners and Phoenix goalkeeper Liam Reddy. He was still playing well past his 41st birthday. So that's something for Danny Vukovic perhaps to aim for.
Well, he's not even close to the oldest custodian currently playing in the A-League. Barbieri from Melbourne City in the ALW. I don't want to do a disservice, but I believe in the region of 44 years old.
Barbarouses nips in and takes the ball away from Nisbet. Tight in there. Kryev looking for some space to work with. Barbarouses with Payne. Wasn't quite ready for it, Tim Payne, but has won a throw. No, hasn't won a throw. Off Payne last. Is Old into a pocket of space, gets a return pass, brings Kryev in, a couple in the air and away, Matt. Again, a sliding intervention from Brian Keltack, diverts it behind.
Oh, he's been busy at that near post. The Wellington Phoenix now finding space in the midfield. Rufer releases Old and then he finds Barbarouses, and once he's in and amongst the defensive lines, more often than not picks the right pass, but Keltack marshalling in front of Danny Vukovic, concedes the corner.
Fourth one of the contest for Wellington. Tim Payne. Delivery is good into the 6-yard area. Bouncing around, it won't come down for Wellington, and cleared away by the Mariners.
Wooten and Simmons stay forward here. Be interesting to see if Rufer tries to find them.
Thought about it again, then slid one into Barbarouses. Payne finds his All Whites teammate who comes inside the ball. Back to Tim Payne, and he just couldn't take it in his stride. And that'll be a foul on Josh Nisbet by David Ball.
Well, it's happening down this right-hand side. And Tim Payne, as we said, has been weaponised by Italiano. And that was his first real snapshot at getting forward as part of a second wave of an attack.
Bit of good-natured banter from the Yellow Fever towards Danny Vukovic, a player they used to cheer for here over a decade ago. Rufer on the half turn gets away from Nisbet. Kelly Heald. Rufer again just looking for an incisive pass, finds one. And the shot comes in, a good save by Vukovic. Really good save. It was off the right foot of Ben Olds. Still there for Wellington. Barbarouses away by Keltack. And Torres completes the job.
Sermon concedes a free kick, but I think this is Oscar Van Hedem. Wriggled his way free. Rufer again, got time and space, finds Van Hedem, drives beyond Ballard, forces the save from Vukovic, comfortable in the end, but the Phoenix are able to recycle and test that near post. I think it's the third or fourth time in the opening 10 minutes finding. The vigour, the energy is now here at Sky Stadium.
And the crowd getting involved as well. There's your possession in the second half. It's all Wellington in the first 7.5 minutes.
Just feel there's a lot more freedom, particularly for Rufa and Old. Still bridled, still conscious of the threat that Central Coast pose in transition. But they really are starting to take these attacks to the Central Coast Mariners defence.
Old towards Van Hatten. Brings it down and tries to bring Kelly Healdon and does it successfully. Lucas Kelly Heald got a couple to aim at in the area. Ballard in the road. Wellington swarming upon loose balls and winning them back. It's a good period of play for the home side. The momentum in their favour. Ben Old can't get past Docker. Has won a throw though. Energy well and truly with Wellington, Paul Eiffel.
Yeah, much better showing so far. They really look like they actually want to win the game. I think it was like very cagey. We talked about that in the first half, but certainly the start of this second half, the likes of Ben Old, Van Hatten are picking up really good positions in pockets. It's very difficult for the centre-backs to know whether to go in and mark them or leave them for the midfielders to deal with, and then they're getting on that front foot and able to get shots off, play other players in. It's much better. The Phoenix are looking the side that are top of the table at the moment.
Do you think there's been a slight amendment to the way in which the Phoenix are setting up in position? Seeing much more of a 4-2-4 now, which it looks like is pinning Central Coast's backline deeper and allowing for a lot more space in that midfield for the likes of Rufa and Old to operate in.
Wellington just letting the Mariners have it inside their own half. Now they'll put a bit of a press on. Barbarousa's putting some pressure on Keltack. Danny Vukovic, though, puts the big right boot to it, all the way down the other end to where Alex Paulson is, although that's a bit dangerous and Paulson's going to have to use his head. Reese was offside.
I think it's the first time that the wind has played a presence. Definitely died off, quite blustery in the warm-ups, but that one went high enough just to hold up in the breeze. I think Paulson was hoping that it was going to come through with a lot more pace.
Speaking of pace, here's Torres. Finn Sermon tidying up. Tim Payne in a tight area. They've won it back through Edmondson and towards Reese. Back to Ballard. Ben Old with a crucial tackle in a pretty dangerous area for the Mariners, and now they're set off and an arm across by Thea Harris. No, a fair challenge, says Alex King. Fortunately, Thea Harris can't continue the momentum. There's a couple of players out there this afternoon who have been nearly but not quite, and frustrating as it may be, they've just got to keep on trying. We've got warming up down at the southern end.
It is the youngster, but the oldest on the bench of the outfield players. Finn Conchi, the 20-year-old, is warming up by himself. I think that's an indication that Italiano likes what he's seen in the midfield. There's more space, and Conchi's got a great range of passing. A player that likes to get on the ball. Haven't seen much of him at A-League level, but made a name for himself at the Under-20 World Cup last year.
Yeah, just the 5 appearances off the bench so far for Finn Conchi. But he might have a big role to play this afternoon. Thea Harris into a pocket of space. It just gets away from him. He carries on, though, and Wooten back to Paulson, who clears. We haven't had a 0-0 draw in this fixture since New Year's Eve 2017. Both of these teams this season as well have usually found a way.
I think it's our first sighting of Farrell up against Payne. Expect their energy, their engines to be on greater display in the second half. Do wonder who Conchi will come on for. We do know that Ben Old is on managed minutes at the moment as he returns from injury. Although, that said, I'm sure Italiano does not want to take him off the field. He has conducted the Wellington Phoenix throughout the course of the game, really. Controlled the tempo in the first half and then has changed gears for the Phoenix in the second.
He hasn't missed a game all season, Ben Old. He's carrying an injury, but playing with it. Here's David Ball, trying to bring Ben Old in and can't. Bodies flying around, and it'll be a free kick the way of the Mariners.
There's a few bodies on the ground at the moment for the Mariners, a few hands on knees as well. And it comes from David Ball trying to find Ben Old. Snapshot, David Ball goes in on Docker, and then Alex Rufer doesn't miss on the second attempt either.
I think there's about 3 fouls in amongst all of that. Eventually, Alex King brought proceedings to an end. Tight in the middle of the park. Rufer frees up Old. He looks up, sends one down the centre-forward channel for Costa Barbarouses to chase. The hour mark has arrived. Still goalless in this top-of-the-table clash in Wellington. Old looking to do something about it. Short passes, David Ball involved. Kelly Heald. His cross is easily cut out.
Well, at the moment, the momentum has been allowed to build as Theo Harris. I think he's feeling it because he's not denying Old the space in the midfield.
Here is Old now, gets away from a potential defender in Hall, who tracks him all the way. On the right foot, straight at Vukovic.
Ben Old, a growing presence on this match. He drifted inside, started on Theo Harris again, and then got away from his marker, and from there, decided this time he won't be the supplier. He's going to pull the trigger. All very manageable from Danny Vukovic's perspective, but adds to the frequency in which the Wellington Phoenix are starting to create chances.
Finn Conchi is ready to enter the battle. And that change will happen now. And it's Oscar Van Hattem who makes way for Finn Conchi. So Ben Old will continue. That'll please a lot of Phoenix fans because he has looked most likely. A good shift from Oscar Van Hattem. One shot which Danny Vukovic had to beat away. Finn Conchi into the action. A big half hour for one of the rising stars of New Zealand football, Finn Conchi. Excellent at the Under-20 World Cup last year. That earned him his contract.
Lovely from Nisbet. Wriggled past 2 Wellington Phoenix attempts to snatch the ball off him.
Theoharis just not going his way this afternoon. Christian Theoharis. Kelly Hill slams it downfield. David Ball's going to chase after it. Hall gets there just ahead of him.
Well, all energy and industry, and it's being led by David Ball. Don't think we've seen much of him on the ball itself, but expect him to keep leading standards for the Wellington Phoenix.
Scott Wooten just about gives that one away. Finn Sermon there to mop up. Jing Reese was sniffing about and just about sensed an opportunity. Great anticipation from Jing Reese to nip in there and try and steal it away from Wooten.
The Phoenix have been scruffy regularly at the back. Invited the challenges from the Mariners.
Torres, haven't seen much of him in the second half, but all he needs is a moment. Nisbet, ever present in and around the football. Farrell's forward. Torres now. Ballard. Docker can't keep that one in, but he will seize upon this and keep play going through Harris. Nisbet. Perpetual motion from Josh Nisbet. Torres. He gets away from Kryev. Was hoping that Farrell would continue that run. Still there, though, for Central Coast as they start to get a bit of a foothold back into the momentum of this game.
It's a real contrast. Simultaneously, Josh Nisbet is influencing things with his busyness, his energy, floating around that midfield. Rufer disruptive, even though more often than not when you see him, he's very still, gets into position early, sees the play developing.
They missed him last week against Brisbane. His leadership, his ability to play 360 degrees in the middle of the park. Alex Rufer, such a key part of this team now. Might even be raising the interest of All Whites coach Darren Paisley as well. Alex Rufer. Ben Old with a foul on Thea Harris. Quickly taken into the area, but cleared by Wellington. And a throw coming their way. 25 minutes to go plus stoppages.
Well, they're trying to meet Wellington's energy. The Phoenix moving the ball, creating the opportunities in that midfield, but the Mariners wanting to step things up, and they're doing so at the restart.
Across the front of their own penalty area, Wellington sliding in. Farrell, Reese, Torres tries to find space for a shot. Angel Torres can't.
Tim Payne there having a word with Finn Sermon. An underhit pass. Phoenix confident in their ability to play out, but at the moment it's the Mariners that are getting toes to things in that final third.
Thea Harris, scorer of his side's opening goal against Adelaide last time out. Torres, ball towards the far post. Dealt with by Kelly Heel. There for Thea Harris. Dangerous left foot. He employs it again, but blocked this time by Conchi. Ball brings it away in heavy traffic, but Docker is back. So while the Phoenix had some momentum a little while ago, the Mariners now with the better moments. Thea Harris again tries to get onto that left foot. Conchi is there for Wellington. Old off on a run. Taken away from him, and there's some tired bodies out there.
Well, the Mariners have definitely caught a rhythm over the course of the last 5 minutes, seizing upon loose balls at the backs by the Phoenix.
David Ball wants it from Ben Old. Dan Hall ahead of Ball. Space is starting to open up in the middle of Sky Stadium. Rufer gets a shin to it. Keltak flies in. Thea Harris can't bring it down. And fouls David Bald as Christian Theoharis. That'll be a yellow card for the Mariners, number 7 of that.
Well, he seems to be an increasingly fatigued figure, Christian Theoharis. Wanting to keep the ball until an option became available, and there just simply hasn't been that time in this game in midfield. Cutting David Ball down. And that's it. Theoharis is making his way to halfway. Looks like DiPizio is coming on.
Yeah, 4th yellow card of the season for Christian Theoharis, his last action of this game. Miguel DiPizio into the action for the Mariners. 18-year-old already has a goal this A-League men's season. An eye-catching one at that.
Another exciting youngster. The ripples are starting around the excitement for what could be the latest product coming out of the Mariners production line.
Yeah, the youth on the bench is as pronounced. Of the 12 outfield substitutes spread across both sides, only one is over 23, and that's Storm Root. What are you sensing sideline, Paul Eiffel? Where's this game going?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a mistake. The wind has really kicked up down here. It's really, really gusty. And I think every time you see the ball go into the air, that's moving it around. And somebody's going to make a little mistake that could lead to something. I think the Phoenix have looked better for the first part of this second half, but certainly the Mariners now, for this sort of last 10 minutes, have looked excellent.
Torres, good acceleration to get away from a couple of would-be defenders. His left foot's the dangerous one. Here's Torres. Cracked all the way by Sermon. And Torres with the final touch.
Well, that's the first time that we've really seen him charging at the Wellington Phoenix in space. Angel Torres wanting to get onto that left foot. Finn Sermon had read the brief. Good touch to take it back into the Mariners' number 11 to create a goal kick from a very dangerous opportunity.
Finn Sermon, what a season it's been for him. Every minute he's played this season. That off the back of a pretty challenging time last season where he didn't get a lot of opportunity. Here come the Mariners charging into the penalty area in the person of Mikel Docker.
Just a few grizzles in this Wellington Phoenix defensive unit at the moment. We saw Tim Payne demanding standards of Finn Sermon, and that time Alex Poulsen gave the ball away directly from a goal kick, allowed the Mariners to snap back.
Here's Tim Payne charging forward over 70 yards. Finds Barbarouses. Keeps going, Tim Payne. Barbarouses can't find him. That's off a hand, I think, of Finn Conchi, is it? Referee allowing play to go on. Keltak's just going to belt it upfield. It's going to come back through Božidar Krajev. Tim Payne's now a central midfielder without a lot of energy. Reese gets away from Rufa. The long limbs of Jing Reese, and he stayed down in the centre circle. Hope he's okay. Up on his feet now. This one's straight across to Barbarouses. David Ball towards Conchi. Krajev can't get a toe on it. Battling with Torres, the two 11s together. And Krajev gets it from Torres and finds Rufa. Now David Ball. Barbarouses forced wide. Goal kick coming the way of the Mariners as Lucas Kelly-Hill bangs that one down the players' tunnel.
I know it's frustrating at home with the lack of chances, but the defence has been so disciplined, so structured from both units this afternoon. Neither wanting to give an inch, particularly in that final third.
But fatigue will certainly start to play a part. It already has. A couple of players out there with hands on knees during stoppages in play. Conchi, he should be fine. He's only just come on. Rufer.
Agree with Ifey, though. You do sense that a mistake's going to compel the opportunity that splits these two teams.
Kelly Hield looks up, launches it in. No one there for Wellington. And Jacob Farrell able to watch it over his shoulder and then clear the lines. Torres again. Clever shift of the hips. And can't free up Tapizio. Hasn't quite come together today for Angel Torres.
Well, the Colombian's been a catalysing figure for Mark Jackson's men. Has put together some really impressive goal-scoring bursts. 5 goals in 2 games earlier in the season. And then a brace last weekend. 2 goals of the highest order.
Yeah, what an addition he's been to the A-League men's. Angel Torres, more to come from him. Old. David Ball stayed out on the left wing. Cuts inside and looks for Conchi. Now Kryev outside in pain. Kryev towards the far post. Headed away by Docker. This game feels like it's hanging on a knife edge.
Well, it's the dangerous last 15 minutes that we're entering. Mariners have really dominated this period of matches this season, but the Phoenix in the last 2 top-of-the-table clashes, they've scored 3 goals beyond the 90. Who is going to blink first?
A wonderful day here in Wellington, public holiday, kids in for free, and a terrific crowd has turned out today. 12,301 here in attendance. That's over 3,000 more than the biggest crowd so far this season. Well done, Wellington, and the footballing community at the bottom of the North Island for turning up in such good numbers today.
It looks like Jing Reese has got an issue with his wrist. That's probably the reason why he stayed down after tussling with Alex Rufer in the centre circle.
So a short stoppage here. Let's have a look at how this happened for Jing Reese.
Alex Rufer gets the foot on the ball and then he lunges in on Ben Old. You can see there the right wrist jams into the turf. Thumb gets in the way. Do not like those, Piney. Had those happen on a couple of occasions.
I think it's a bit worse when you're a goalkeeper. Jing Reese looks like he's going to be okay. Speaking of goalkeepers, Danny Vukovic has been solid in goal again for his side. It was at that end, of course, that he scored that famous penalty back in February of 2011. Giancarlo Italiano up off his bench, as he has been for most of the afternoon. Deeply superstitious, Giancarlo Italiano. One example is that if his team loses, he throws away the shirt that he's wearing. It's a nice shirt today too, bit of a floral number. Wouldn't want to be throwing that in the bin. Here come the Mariners. Here's Reese. Torres. Waiting for support from Farrell. Ballard and Nisbet together. Wellington holding firm. Torres. Nisbet.
Patience again, the tool that the Phoenix using to nullify the Mariners. Not jumping into a challenge, waiting for the attacker to make the decision.
The Mariners too showing patience. Phoenix in their low block. The visitors searching for a way through. Farrell steps into the attacking third. Here's Docker. That's over the top of Paulson. Tim Payne hooks it away.
What a curious way Alex Paulson didn't come for that cross. I think if anything he might have been overly conservative given the wind's picking up at Sky Stadium.
In terms of the direction of the wind, it is behind the backs of Wellington, heading from left to right on your screen, but it does tend to swirl around a lot inside the bowl here at Sky Stadium. Nisbet into Reese. Edmondson, haven't seen a lot of him in the second half. Now the shot is up and over. Tepizio unable to find the target.
Miguel Docker limping there. We might see Storm Roux as a result of that.
Here's Conchi. Rufer. If Docker's unable to carry on, a ready-made replacement in the All Whites fullback, Storm Roux. Had his ban reduced from 3 matches to 2 after the red card he received against Melbourne City. Rather hopeful ball forward. And Docker is OK for the meantime to get it half-away. Lovely touch from Kelly Hill, then a little move into space. Barbarousis. Ben Old. Crowd find their voice. Ben Old in the area.
Superb from Josh Nisbet there. Got between Old and the goal.
That one's rebounded off Farrell to Torres, but Boshidar Kraev has taken it back. Ball. Kraev again. Twisting and turning the Bulgarian. Towards ball on the far post. He tried to divert it goalwards, didn't get any touch at all, I don't think, Ben Old.
Well, it's tantalising from Boshidar Kraev. Cuts inside once, twice. He looks to stand this one up to try and find Ben Old in front of Miguel Docker. Old tries to contort but can't get close to that one.
Does this game have a goal which the longer we go would be just so decisive? Not just today, but perhaps in the race for the Premier's place. A Wellington win would send them 5 points clear of the Mariners at the top. A Mariners victory would see them supplant Wellington at the top of the table. A draw and things would stay the same between these two anyway. A 2-point gap at present. All 3 results well and truly still available to those players out there. And a kick out by Jing Reese on Alex Rufer. He apologises immediately.
Well, considering what Alex King has let go this afternoon, that one seems a little bit soft. What we're really concerned about here is the lashing out from Jing Reese, and hands up immediately, apologising. The Phoenix captain is still on the turf, back to his feet. The boos of yellow fever ringing out around Sky Stadium.
On we go. 7 minutes plus added time. Keltack. Payne can only find Edmondson with his header. Here's Ryan Edmondson. Is this his moment? Docker. Wharton with the solid header away. Old brings it down, but he's a bit short of frames over there at the moment. It's there again for the Mariners and the outstanding Josh Nisbet. Torres, Reese, Farrell, away by Sermon, and calmly by Payne to ball. Wellington doing their best to pass it out, but it's come back the way of the Mariners. Here's Farrell, back across the 6-yard area. Wharton with a head in the way. His fellow Englishman David Ball is there. Conchi. And calmly to Payne. Forward to Barbarousis. Old and Ball ahead. Kelly Hill joining in. Wellington coming forward in numbers. Roared on by this 12,000 strong crowd.
The afternoon's definitely sapped both defences of the energy. I think if either side can rely on their instinct and let this ball go early, there's going to be opportunity to profit from.
David Ball used an arm. It's a shoulder in his view, not in the view of Alex King.
From that angle, looks like David Ball's got an argument.
Well, late goals have been a pretty regular occurrence in the A-League men's this season. They've seen teams win games. They've seen teams come back to draw matches. Mariners are preparing another change. We're going to see the Brazilian Ronald Barcelos into the action shortly. Nisbet rakes it out to Farrell, and it's almost a collector's item. A misplaced pass from Josh Nisbet. That change will come now. And it's Ryan Edmondson who makes way. Ronald Barcelos on loan. Has come off the bench in the last 2 games, does so again here for the final 3.5 plus stoppages. Here's Barcelos with his first chance to get involved. Can he make an instant impact? Torres. Ballard. Ballard gets it back from DiPizio. Next up for Wellington, they're back home on Saturday night to play Western United. The Mariners are at home to Sydney FC, also on Saturday. Nisbet again, just looking for a pass. Finds his mate Ballard into the feet of Barcelos, but he can't control. Barbarouses and Ball look to combine. Keltek is there. Torres. Will it be he who has the final say? Not with that pass. David Ball with the ball running for him. Into Barbarouses. Old is up outside. Ben Old pursued by DiPizio, faced by Docker. And the Mariners have done well to defuse that situation.
There's a swarm of yellow shirts back. Costa Barbarouses. Haven't seen much of him in the second half, but he's laying a foundation up front for the Phoenix. That time trying to catapult Ben Old forward, but momentum very much with the Mariners, and I do like the change. Barcelos on.
Ballard with the shot! Goodness gracious me, as that left Maximilian Ballard's right foot. It looked destined for the bottom corner and what would have been his first A-League men's goal.
Well, from nothing, Max Ballard makes his claim to steal the points. It's a lovely strike. Just moves in to out ever so slightly.
So change for Wellington. David Ball's day is done. Luke Supik is into the action.
Well, there's confidence in the youngsters. 17-year-old introduced by Italiano.
Is Torres dangerous? Torres! Well, that got to Alex Paulson very, very quickly.
Well, all of a sudden, there's space in and around the Wellington Phoenix's 18-yard box. Although there's willingness, there's not energy to keep ensuring that defensive discipline stays intact.
Here's Kraev. Open spaces in midfield for Bojidar Kraev. Ben Old. 4 extra minutes to be played minimum. We're into those now.
Barbarouses, Old and Rufer have all been the difference late on in the two late shows previously here at Sky Stadium.
Tim Payne trying to find Barbarouses, not cleared by the Mariners. Ben Old half controls and then scampers across with the last little bit of energy he's got. Ben Old. He's meant to be on managed minutes. He's played 91 out there this afternoon. The crowd trying to lift Wellington for one final assault. Keltek. Wootton in the way, and he finds its way back to Tim Payne. Given away by Kelly Heald. The Mariners with the latest chance to break forward for a winner. Kraev, though, gives it to Barbarouses. Costa faced by 3 yellow shirts. Finds Kraev through the legs of Jacob Farrell and into the grateful arms of Danny Vukovic.
Well, Vukovic did well. He was moving right, but I think there's a deflection of Jacob Farrell. If not, then he definitely wrong foots his goalkeeper. And Vukovic has to quickly make his way left.
We've had 2 of the extra 4. Nisbet. Here's Torres. Was he fouled? He was by Rufer. Dangerous position for a free kick for the Central Coast Mariners.
And here's the moment. Angel Torres cuts back across Rufer. The Wellington Phoenix captain brings the Mariners number 11 to ground very quickly and abruptly. Results in this free kick. It's not necessarily the best angle, Piney, but I do suspect that Doc is going to try and put this one at the near post.
Can he get it up and over that wall? And into the top corner, Mikhail Docker. Here is Docker, and punched over by Paulson. On target from Mikhail Docker, but Alex Paulson repelling it.
Well, Docker wanted Paulson to bite at the suggestion of a cross, but the Wellington custodian, big, strong left hand.
30 seconds to go. Final set piece situation maybe for the Mariners. Header by Caltech.
Oh, wouldn't he have loved that? Brian Caltech on his return to New Zealand. Space at the top of the Phoenix's 6-yard. Powerful header from the Mariners number 3, but not on target.
Time is very nearly up here on Waitangi Day in Wellington.
And Vukovic is down. I think you noted, Piney, that he didn't warm up at the start of the game.
Yeah, this is interesting from Danny Vukovic. As you say, Jacob, he didn't take part in the warm-ups at all, Danny Vukovic, and then all of a sudden he was sitting down on the edge of his penalty area. He is asking for a little bit of relief from the yellow fever. And they are going to make a change, are they, or just going to give him some attention? So, and amongst all of that, the game has been called to its close. 2 A-League men's prize fighters have slugged it out here on Waitangi Day in Wellington. Thrust and counter-thrust. Jabs and right hooks and punches of all kinds, but neither defence breached. Neither side able to find a winner today. Full time in Wellington. The Phoenix 0, Central Coast Mariners 0. So that was a rather tame end to what has been a pretty intriguing contest. I thought we were going to get the opportunity for Danny Vukovic to receive some treatment and then carry on, but referee Alex King had decided that the 94 minutes were up. For the first time in a long time, a 0-0 draw between these two sides. It's the Phoenix's first goalless outing since round 1 against the Western Sydney Wanderers. The Mariners play out their first stalemate of this season. What it does to the table is keep it pretty much the same. The Phoenix will go to 30 points and stay top. The Mariners move to 28 and stay second, one ahead of Melbourne Victory, who have a game in hand. Danny Vukovic has got to his feet and is okay to chat to us after the game. Let's get you down to Goran Paladin, who has Danny Vukovic alongside.
Yeah, good on you, Piney. Thanks for that, mate. First of all, Danny, how are you feeling, mate? Because the match ended with you on your haunches, on your butt. Are you okay?
Yeah, I just got the biggest head spin as the corner was coming in, and I know the fans probably didn't believe it, but honestly, I wasn't feeling the best, but glad to say that I'm feeling okay now. And yeah, it was a tough game. I think both teams cancelled each other out, and we go back home now and prepare for the next game.
Well, just on the head spins, was that something, an extension of the warm-ups, because you didn't train or you didn't warm up before the game?
Yeah, I warmed up. I just go in early, but yeah, it's been a tough schedule for us. You know, we've been playing in heat the last few weeks, and obviously had the game on Saturday in Adelaide, and yeah, flew over here. So it is what it is. It's part of you know, what we have to do as A-League footballers, and we just get on with it.
To the game itself, you've got a lot of attacking threat. You're the most potent attacking force in the A-League. Why do you think the Wellington Phoenix were able to nullify the threats of Torres and Theoharis and Qual up front today?
Yeah, Wellington are a great side. They defend really well as a team. You can see they battle for each other, and similar to us, I see a lot of similarities between both teams, and I think both teams made it difficult. I think Wellington's chances were from distance, so no real clear-cut chances, and we basically just cancelled each other out.
0-0, but the unbeaten run continues. It extends out to 12 matches now, Danny. What's been the key to the turnaround after losing the first 4 games of the season?
Yeah, I think it's obvious. A lot of change at the club with players and then coaches. And it takes time and you know, new style of football for all of us, but I think everyone's understanding it more and more, and yeah, we're reaping the rewards now in the games.
How much do you enjoy football on Waitangi Day, a Tuesday afternoon in front of 12,000 in Wellington?
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's great to see the Wellington Phoenix fans coming back. You know, the team's doing really well, so great to see them coming out and supporting, and yeah, it was a beautiful day, a little bit more windy than we would have liked, but yeah, a great day here in Wellington.
Hey, good on you, Danny. Great to see you again. Tough luck on the result though, mate.
Thank you, guys. Cheers.
And we'll bring in skipper of the Wellington Phoenix, Alex Rufer. Roos, great to see you again, mate. How are the lungs after sitting out the Brisbane Roar game last week?
No, I'm good. I need a little break, and I feel fresh, and I'm ready.
Difference in the midfield this week. Obviously, you're used to having Mo Altay and Nicholas Pennington alongside you. Mo's out injured, Penno out suspended. What did the likes of Ben Old and Bojida Kraev offer your team today?
Look, we've got players who can fill in every position. Both of them are very good technically, and I think they both did really well. I think we were good with the ball today. I think we were patient. I just think we lacked the final product, unfortunately, today. But look, we'll take the point. They're a good team, and we'll move on for next weekend at home. Good
to have Tim Payne back as well, and also trying to nullify the threat of Jacob Farrell and Angel Torres down their left-hand side.
Yeah, Payne is a very good player for us. Unfortunately, he had to miss 2 weeks from suspension, but look, he was very good tonight, and like everyone else, I think we were solid. But like I said, I think for us now to really take that step forward is to just be really clinical in front of goal and have that final product. But like I said, you know, you have to take those games, and now we move on.
What was it like in front of 12,301 Wellington Phoenix fans here today on Waitangi Day?
Oh, look, it was amazing. Our fans have been brilliant the whole year. You know, great crowd tonight, and they really push us, you know, so hopefully we can get another good crowd this weekend too.
And what about the battle between what we're calling now the 2 best midfielders in the A-League, yourself and Josh Nisbet? Probably didn't come together too often, but what's it like being out there against somebody of that quality?
He's a good player. I like to be challenged, and I think every week's a challenge. Every week there's a different opposition, there's a different player that you have to play against, and look, I'm flattered with that remark being called one of the best midfielders in the league, but you know, for me, it's just focusing on next game, next training, and like I said, I really do relish those battles, and unfortunately, we didn't win tonight, but it is what it is.
Well, I think you're the best, mate, but that's just me. 0-0 today. Look forward to seeing you again on Saturday against Western United, still top of the table.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Look forward to it.
All right, it's finished 0-0 here on Waitangi Day between the Wellington Phoenix and Central Coast Mariners. The Phoenix are still top of the ladder by 2 competition points. We'll unpack everything that we've seen. We'll talk to Tim Payne, who returned today after 2 matches out with suspension. We'll also hear from Bojida Kraev. Do stick around. Live on Sky Sport, the post-match show is next.